Hello, everybody. It's Friday, and that means it's Fun Times Football. Thank you for coming back and listening. We've got Ashley, Chris Gibson, Billy Kerr. I don't know why I didn't give Ashley his surname, but Mr. Kerwin, I guess the way he's dressed.
I am. Yeah.
Look at him, he's Mr. Kerwin.
No
Mr.
first names
Kerwin.
today. Yeah.
No. How is everyone? Everyone feeling good?
Ready for that weekend?
It's Friday, yeah.
Yeah, really enjoying this Friday night.
I think everyone knows we pre-record it. It doesn't go out live.
Who is everyone?
Hey, we've got 5 subscribers.
That's
One of them's me, so
subscribers.
Don't tell me that favour's getting to my head, obviously. I'm becoming the right diva.
Every subscriber's worth 10 subscribers. There we go.
4 of us are subscribers.
Right.
Whoever the extra one is.
We're going to run the theme tune.
It's Friday, it's Fun Times Football.
So, Gibby had a mystery shirt last week, and Billy's turned up with a football team with a shirt he doesn't support. I don't think that sentence made any sense, but you got the gist. Billy, talk us through your shirt that you're wearing this week. I know the story, but obviously our avid listeners don't.
Well, I don't know how much of a story it is, but I found all my old shirts from when I was a kid. I used to collect loads, and I just kind of thought I'd start that again. Start up the old Ballon d'Or drobe, as it's going to be called. Yes. And I've stumbled upon this 1999 to 2000 Juventus home shirt with my second favourite Juventus player that was playing for him at this time on the back. Which, any guesses on who that can be?
Del Piero.
Well, nailed it straight away. Yeah.
I was staying absent because I knew.
He didn't tell me that, by the way, Liam, before the podcast. Just
there we go.
I knew it.
Yeah.
No. I mean, let's be honest, Ashley, that's the only Juventus player from that era you could remember.
Yes, I'm so glad I got that on the first try. I wasn't going any further than that.
My favourite player around the time was Zinedine Zidane, let's be real.
Pavel Nedved was good at that time.
Yeah, that's a bit of a deep cut for you, to be honest with you. But I'm not sure if it was around this time. I think he was more 2002, but you know.
But I'm done after that. That's it. That's as far as it goes. So let's move on.
We'll move on. Yeah. So, in ever-loving fashion, there's obviously drop-off rates exist. So we'll do the most interesting game of the weekend first, which is Newcastle versus Arsenal at St James's Park, or the Sports Direct Arena, as I will continue to call it, just to piss Newcastle fans off. Well, I guess we could call it Al Jimenez's. Yeah. What would be a Saudi Arabian version of James?
I ain't touching that.
Nope. Al Ishmael's cancelled before the podcast takes off. Yeah. Sorry, boys.
3 minutes in.
We're done.
Ruined it for everyone. Yeah, I mean, it does seem on the face of it to be one of the most interesting games of the weekend, and we do have an Arsenal fan in our midst, so I'll pass it to him once he's done taking the toke of his vape. I'll just sort of keep talking until he's breathed out. I know he's holding it in for very purposes of. There we go, Chris. How do you feel?
Nervous. I reckon this could be our first defeat of the season. I really do. And I actually thought it was at home. Do not play well away to Newcastle. And after getting hammered by the Hammers, I'm even more nervous. Yeah. I think it'll be with my heart in there with my head. I will say 2-2 draw, just because there'll be a little bit of a mix and some better options to be there attacking wise. But bloody hell, this could be it. This could be our first loss of the season, and that'll leave Spurs remaining. Tough place to go.
Yeah, Newcastle is everyone's got to play there still. I don't think any of the tops. Actually, have City played at St James's yet? Liverpool, and they won, didn't they? With 10 men, didn't they?
They did.
So,
yeah.
City
I
guess
Newcastle at home, as in City were at home. Yeah.
So it's an interesting game. I mean, Newcastle obviously flying at the moment. Absolutely ruined Man United. I mean, who did they play? They drew with Wolves though last week.
I don't think. Yeah, because they drew and they lost to Dortmund before that. It's not been.
and drew to us before that.
Yeah, they drew
Yeah,
to West Ham.
yeah.
Well, they smashed Palace in between those two games.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Newcastle are on good form, but I guess it's hit and miss with them this season, isn't it? Looking at the results, and they've only really had two prolific displays against PSG and Sheffield United.
Villa.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. Have they got any? Let's see if they got any
Yeah.
players out. I mean, anyone got any?
Anyone
other
beat them at
thoughts?
home?
They've got Isaac, haven't they? Is he out still?
Is he out? Well,
I think they're
Wilson's still
quite
a good
injury
replacement.
stricken, didn't they? They mentioned yesterday, so I think they've got a few missing.
Yeah.
Big squad though.
Yeah.
As to who,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. They've got a massive squad.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyone else got any thoughts on the game?
I
Really?
want to I want to be the most unhumble motherfucker and talk about the game last night, but I'm not going to do it because I actually like Gibby. I'm just going to say Arsenal are probably going to be pissed off. I want them to lose. They're not going to. I'm quite confident that their unbeaten streak's going to carry on, especially if Newcastle are as injury stricken as they say. I'm not sure who's out, like I said, but I see an Arsenal win coming, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Cheeky
I
squid.
would.
You couldn't seem happier about it, Billy.
Oh,
I think by
I'm
the end of this
fucking
podcast,
with you.
Bill, you're going to be a gooner. I can see it happening. Because the
Oh
first two
my
episodes,
God.
you fucking hated. I think you hated me at the beginning of the podcast. Now you're warming up to us.
That's not going to happen.
I'll get in a
I'm
pink
obviously in
by
a
the end of the
situation.
series.
I'm in a situation for the first time in my memory. I want a team less than Tottenham to win the Premier League.
Less than. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, so I
You
would
prefer
rather
Spurs
Tottenham
to
win the Premier League.
So
Wow.
And don't get it tricked though. I fucking still hate Tottenham.
yeah, I understand that. You always hate Tottenham.
Yeah.
So injuries: Sven Botman, Isak Tonali. Obviously, is not an injury, but he's suspended. Harvey Barnes, Jacob Murphy, and Elliot Anderson. Which, to be honest, doesn't sound much of a dent in their squad. Isak's a bit of a miss. Harvey Barnes as well, maybe, but they do have players to cover them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody short of
I mean-
goals, let's face it.
no, Tonali. I'd say Tonali's a miss, but the Longstaff's been playing really well. So
Tonali hasn't really done all that much inside of the first game. He looked really good, but after that, there's not much to talk about.
what
Just barely
Tonali?
playing him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like Eddie knew what was coming. Kept
Yeah,
shuffling
maybe.
cards on the bench. All right.
That's not normal.
It's not normal. Cameron's chips.
why has this guy got a whole section of his phone dedicated to gambling sites? This is weird.
That's one of his categories, yeah.
Fucking bet
Why has he
slip
got
falls
Sam
out of his
Ashford on
pocket.
speed dial? That's not right.
He's got 18
Yeah.
loan sharks on his phone. What does that mean? All right, score predictions. Who's done score predictions already?
2-2.
I don't
No
think-
one has.
Gibby said 2-2. Ashley, what do you reckon? You can give a
I
bit of
think-
colour if you want.
Well, no, I don't have too much to say, except for if you sort of squint and lose focus on the screen, it looks like we've got Newcastle and Arsenal on the screen in terms of Billy and Gibby. But apart from that, I don't have anything to offer. I would say it's 2-2 this game as well.
2-2.
Yeah.
Billy, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think I've already spoke about it. In
You said Arsenal win, though. So what score?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe an Arsenal win, so I'm going to keep this black and white,
You believe in us?
and it will be a 2-1 Arsenal win.
Oh, I am going to say something different to everyone and probably more wishful thinking than anything else, but I'm going to go
Oh,
for a
he's going edgy
Newcastle.
already.
I'm going to go. It's not. I don't think that's an edgy. It's going to be a close
It's not.
game.
Not
I
hot
think-
take.
I
After you just
Newcastle-
read
I
out
think
their
Newcastle
laundry
will
list of injuries.
That's not a massive.
so have we.
It's a list of injuries, but it's not. They're not. I wouldn't say they're massively key players. They've got cover in those positions. Isak's probably the biggest miss, but you've got Callum Wilson
Yeah.
as a backup, who's quite a good backup. It's not.
We have no Jesus, no Partey.
Newcastle didn't
Yeah.
look great against Wolves. I don't know how much do you read into the Carabao Cup, really? Because they've had complete opposite Carabao Cups, haven't they, basically?
Yeah. I guess it depends whether Arsenal have obviously got something to prove after their defeat and Newcastle have got momentum coming from that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle. I reckon. It'll be tight. I reckon it'll be a tight game, whatever happens. And I think any result would be reasonable for the end of that game. Moving on, Brentford, West Ham.
Ugh.
So,
Why is that your second game?
what do you mean? I want to spread it out throughout the podcast, so we've got like interesting games elsewhere. Are you upset about that being the second game?
I just thought it was more like Match of the Day, where you get like the better games at the start, and then.
But we don't
shit
know what
games
the
at
better games were, and I think Brentford West Ham will be a good game.
Did you not watch us last night? We were actually fucking decent.
Spurs Chelsea is one of the big games this weekend, I think.
Coming up.
Well, we're going to get round to that, aren't we? Like,
Exactly. We've got all the.
just
I
thought
sent
it
you the. If you had a point to raise,
You'd have the agenda,
raise
actually.
it when I send
I
you the
did, I
agenda.
did. I'm just
if
raising
we did
it.
all, if we did all the
I've
good
had a
shit
problem.
first, if we did all the good shit first, then everyone's just going to tune out halfway through. Who wants to
Exactly.
stay around for the
Rather
product?
now, they're actually just tuning for 5 minutes, so it's even worse.
Exactly.
I think you put Ash in a shirt and jumper, he's got to poke fun at everything. He's like our
Yeah.
new lawyer, podcast lawyer now.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Can we not?
We like this
Can we
in
not
order.
just? If I send the agenda out, it's there so that you can raise issues with it pre podcast, right? Like if you had
I'm
an issue,
raising
you
them.
should
I'm
have.
raising them live. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's crack on. Let's do
You-
Brentford West Ham. It's fine.
You
I'll give
fucked
you.
it for
You
everyone.
think
Now.
you're now?
You can do it. You can do it.
Honestly, yeah.
Yes, you
I'm
can
gonna-
do Brentford West Ham. You
I'm
can
going
do
to
it.
I'm going to take you off the
Dressed like
screen in a
Alan
minute.
Hampton.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
go
take
ahead.
off
You
the screen
can
in a
do
minute.
it.
All
I
right,
give you
thank you.
permission.
Brentford West Ham. I think this will be a cracking game, even though you're jesting at it, Ashley. You bellend. West Ham's league form isn't great, but obviously they did convincingly beat Arsenal yesterday. Wednesday, I guess, would be when people are listening to this. But Brentford are in a good. They've won the past 2 matches in the Premier League, so they've beaten Chelsea and Burnley. A win against Chelsea away last out for Brentford is quite. I think both teams coming off the back of decent victories is going to be make for an interesting game. Billy, what do you reckon?
Do we have to do this again, really?
Your
I
West
mean-
Ham representation.
Yeah, well, it's always the same. I open it but with the line something like, I'm not feeling very confident. I've been a West Ham fan all my life, and I know how this goes. I was right about Everton. In fact, I said I think it'd be a draw. I got optimistic. That'll fucking teach me. Brentford as well is become sort of like the bogey team for us. I honestly can't remember the last time we beat him. I think it was in the Carabao Cup or FA Cup maybe. But yeah, in the league we have absolutely zero luck against them. I'm feeling confident. Screw it.
Yes.
Like,
Yes, Billy.
yeah, just after watching that against Arsenal, hopefully we'll realise, holy shit, we can play football, and then we'll come out. Hopefully we don't sit behind the ball, which is the way that Moyes seems to like to play his football, and we nick a win. I don't see us running away with it, but I hope we can nick a 1-goal win or something.
So what's your score?
I'm going to go with 2-1. Yeah, I'm going to stick to the 2-1 at the minute.
2-1 West Ham. Yeah,
Yeah,
Brentford's a
please.
hard place to go, isn't it? So so you're always going to get a tough game there. Ashley, what do you reckon?
It's a really difficult one to predict with Brentford because they're so up and down this year. They got their annual win at Stamford Bridge last time out, which is very impressive. Seems to be a theme. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Brentford win, I think, actually. And I'm going to go 3-1. But please don't leave the podcast, Billy. I'm just saying. Nothing against you,
3-1
mate.
Brentford.
Yeah, 3-1 Brentford.
Wild. Gibby, what do you reckon?
I agree with all of my fellow podders. I think it's going to be a very tight game. Both teams been up and down. I think the home advantage is probably what's going to edge it for Brentford. And I think it would have edged it for the Hammers if they were at home. So I'm thinking draw, a slight Brentford win. I'm going to go which way? I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford.
Ooh, I'll round it off with a nice draw. I think it will be a very tight game, and I'm going to say 2-2.
Is that actually at Brentford? Is it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I thought it was Arsenal.
Don't take it
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
Billy. You've gone for West Ham now. Stick.
No,
take
no,
it.
for West Ham,
yeah.
man.
Don't worry, I'll
Um,
go on the hill.
So, moving swiftly through to
What
Bournemouth
about yourself?
versus.
What'd you go for, Liam?
I said 2-2, mate.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Are you
Just
writing
checking
these
that
down?
No. Yeah. Good. Yep.
Good.
2-2. That's right. You got that right. You did say that. Yeah. Cool. Good.
Yeah, I know. I'm so confused.
He's wearing a wire.
Oh,
He is,
don't.
Who are you talking to?
Just repeat that for me, please.
Yeah. Right. Bournemouth, Man City. I put this one at the end of the first section just because it's probably going to end in a massive walkover for City. If you haven't captained Haaland in your dream team this week, then you're probably an idiot. I actually made a massive blunder with my dream team last week, took him out of the team, and he did very well and fucked up, and I went from second to fourth. So, you know,
Can you put him back in?
he's already back in.
Yeah.
He's back in. I've made some changes. I've been shrewd. I've been very shrewd. We can get to that. We can get to that another time. So Bournemouth, Man City. I reckon we can just run through the score predictions for this because there's not much to say, is there? Really? We'll go with Chris first.
Just quickly on Dream Team, Haaland wasn't the one to captain, so Tarkowski. If you captained
Yeah.
Tarkowski last game week, he would have got 42. I think Haaland ended up on 38. 2 clean sheets for Everton and a goal. And I think Starman, and you get points for shots on target and random shit these days. So for this game, I'm gonna go for 4-1.
What City? Obviously.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say Bournemouth get
Fair
one.
enough. Billy.
Yeah, obviously, there's not much you can say about this game. I only see it going one way. I'm going to go with the 4 goals for City. I just don't see Bournemouth scoring, so 4-0.
Yeah, that's fair. Ashley.
Yeah, I'm going to go for something a bit different. I'm going to go for Man City 4, Bournemouth 1. I reckon for this one.
That's exactly the same as Chris. Would have been a bit different.
I just thought I'd get the listeners like, "Ooh, hang on, what's he going to go for?"
And he just
bring
exactly
him down,
the same.
bringing him down. Yeah.
Don't do it. I just had a premonition. I just had a premonition. I just had a premonition and was like, Bournemouth are going to win 2-1.
There's a clickbait. There he goes.
I just had it in there. Obviously,
predicts
I'm not
Bournemouth
gonna
win.
Crazy man predicts Bournemouth win at the weekend.
And if they do, that's going to get a lot of views. So.
Exactly. So we'll just say it right now: 2-1 Bournemouth against City. But the real score prediction will actually, I will say that City are going to win 6-0.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm going big. I'm going big for this one. I can see Man City just kicking on in this game. Like,
Is that the
Bournemouth won't have enough. No,
that don't make a fucking difference.
it's at
Does it?
Bournemouth. But Bournemouth have what? It's like playing at the Walks. They've got like 20 people in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it is the smallest stadium in the Premier League, isn't it? Is Luton's bigger? I think even Luton's bigger.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's around
Really?
10,000.
Yeah, it's about 10, 12,000. Yeah.
Yeah, and Luton's what, 18, something like that. Oh no, Kenilworth Road is the smallest, but
Wow.
Kenilworth Road's got 10.5 roughly, and Bournemouth's 11.5. So,
Okay.
I mean, Luton's ground is in the middle of a fucking housing estate, so
Yeah.
who could blame it? And moving swiftly on to everyone's favourite time of the week.
It's Billy's Fun Fact.
There we go. What you got for us this week, Bill? Come on, give me something
I
juicy.
had something lined up, but I learned something today that I couldn't quite believe. I've just got to think how to phrase it, because both ends of this for me were very what's that?
So you tied your shoelace for the first time.
Well, no, I'm still on Velcro, bro. Calm down. Right. Nicholas Bentner. We'll start with him. He played 9 games in the Serie A, scoring 0 goals. And he has the same amount of Serie A titles as Francesco Totti, who played his entire career in the Serie A. Francesco Totti.
Arguably one of Italy's best ever players. Like,
Yeah, that is insane to me. Fucking Lord Bentner.
Lord Bentner.
Yeah,
Totti did spend his entire career at Roma at a period where they weren't massively dominant, though, right? Like, how many titles
What
is
do you
that?
mean a period where they weren't massively dominant? It was like 20 years.
Yeah, but how many titles is that? Is it
One.
one or two? One.
One.
But
Yeah.
Totti only ever won the Serie A once.
Once, yeah. He won the Serie A once and the World Cup once.
But Roma legend, right? Surely.
Well, yeah, football legend.
You do get you do get those, like, I don't know what to call them, trophy louts, like people that do fuck all, and yet, like, Scott Carson's got 2 Champions League trophies. People like
Harry Kane.
He's the opposite.
No, he's the opposite. Man.
He's the complete opposite.
Oh,
he's
right,
on
I
the
thought you were
Francesco
saying-
Totti end of the spectrum.
I'm talking about people that do like Bentner that does fuck all and yet manages to win a trophy.
Mhm.
Like, there are certain players that they've ended up with, like, Champions League trophies and such without contributing anything. And you get people
Nicky
like
Butt.
yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah,
Give us your best trophy lout, I guess you could call it. But just
yeah, that's
That's
actually,
a fun,
yeah.
That's a fun topic
Yeah.
for another time. Maybe we could do that
Yeah,
next
I
week.
think
Tune in
I
next
like
week.
to have Sam here for that.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
to think about that.
He supported half the teams.
That good fun fact this week, Bill. Enjoyed that.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's fucking Bentner.
I still can't
What a
believe
wild
it.
card. What a wild card that guy was. What
Don't disrespect the name.
what a remarkably average footballer. Like
Average
Obviously-
being polite.
at the
But
top
amazing
end of the
human being.
spectrum, what an average footballer at the top end of the spectrum, but always managed to be close
But
when they
a
were
cult-
performing well.
A cult hero as
Yeah.
well, though,
Yeah,
somehow.
Always in the papers. He double his number on the back. Try and give himself double luck. Then there was
Really?
the
That's
pink,
another fun fact.
the pink boot for Nasco as well. I don't want to jump
Yeah.
on the fact. Like,
Oh, they're honestly, he is filled with fun facts. I've found some fun stuff on Lord Bentner.
Right. Well, let's make Ashley happy by getting to the Spurs Chelsea game. Monday Night Football. I mean, that's why I left it a little bit later as well. It's the Monday night game. I wanted to cover a little bit of the weekend before we got to Monday night. You know, exactly. Everyone's favourite footballing night of the week, Monday Night Football. I mean, I guess I could start being the Spurs fan. I'm not even confident. I don't know why. I feel like I should be, but it's Chelsea, and we haven't slipped up yet, and we're going to do it at some point. I can just feel it. I don't think this is the season for Spurs, to be honest. I feel like we'll finish top 4, but I don't think we'll continue the way we've been playing. That being said, I mean, I am feeling confident, but my heart is very, very confident. No, sorry, my brain is very, very confident, but my heart is been a Spurs fan for 30 years.
You haven't been in this position for a while. Yeah.
Exactly. I feel if I get too hopeful, it's the hope that kills you, really.
Oh
as a
yes.
Spurs fan. It's definitely the hope that kills you.
That's
that
under your
being
badge,
said,
isn't
in Latin.
that is the Latin phrase.
it?
The hope- everyone thinks it's to dare is to do it. It's actually the hope will kill you.
On banners around the stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you. Before
So,
I give
what's
my prediction, I'll let other Pete. Does anyone else have anything to say about the game? Would anyone like to give some colour on the situation?
No.
I don't think. Well, I know the bubble's got to burst for Chelsea, Spurs at some point, but I don't think Chelsea will
Bubbles
do
burst.
it. The bubble isn't going to burst yet because you look at
Chelsea's
the
bubble
squad.
has definitely burst.
Yeah,
Chelsea's
has, yeah. I don't think it was ever inflated or whatever, but just like they haven't got much to offer. Like Nicholas Jackson seems a bit of a dud. I'm not sure about him. Sterling, what would you call him? He's
I don't
he's a
understand why you're talking like fucking Mark from Peep Show.
I'm probably because I'm dressed like it.
You
Billy.
are. You
Absolutely.
It's
actually are.
seeping into your veins.
I have to- yeah, it is. But I don't think Chelsea have enough to offer to take down the Spurs' sort of relentless attack. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Spurs win for this.
Yeah, fair enough. Billy.
Yeah,
I'd want-
I would honestly like to say that Chelsea are going to put an end to Tottenham's unbeaten streak, but chance would be a fine thing. And
Yeah.
I think indeed. And I only see a Tottenham win here. Draw at worst for them, for Tottenham, that is. But yeah, on to Christopher.
Thank you, sir.
Have you got a score? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
we're
go on.
doing that now, are we? Yeah, 1-0 Tottenham.
Chris, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think the Spurs streak is going to finish at Chelsea. And I hope it doesn't, because I don't want you to uplift Chelsea, because in a way, hate them more than Spurs, but for different reasons. But I did have a question for you, Hind. What do you think has been the main contributing factor for your success? It's multiple choice. Do you think it's A, Maddison,
Obviously.
B, after one option,
Starting the season.
Mighty Ange, or C, Kane leaving to free up other players and their creativity?
Yes.
D,
No.
all of the above.
Yeah.
No, I think
Select one.
no. I think the main factor is Ange, right? Like, we are playing an entirely different style of football from since Pochettino, really. Like, all of the managers that have come in since him have played defensive, counter-attacking, on the transition kind of football, whereas Ange is playing a very front foot, very pressing, very attacking. Sometimes we do look a bit sketchy, and I feel like if we come up a very clinical team, we'll probably concede too many goals. Like, you say it's not going to end this week, and we've got City at the Etihad the weekend after, so that's probably when it comes to an end. So
Cracking game. You usually do pretty well against them.
yeah, I mean, we had 4 points off City last year, so
Yeah.
That'd be
I
good.
hope for
Yeah,
the
it would be
same.
good.
That would be good. I mean, 6 points would be better, but I don't really see it. I don't know. Rodri's obviously back, and yeah, I'd say personally, Ange is the biggest factor. Obviously,
I
Maddison.
like when they talk
coming in.
about old managers. Obviously, you've had Conte, and they say there's like, and he had Mourinho as well, like ultra defensive, and they call it anti-football like strategy. Like, how could something be anti-football? Like, you try not to play football. Like, we're going to go anti-football and actually do the opposite thing that we'd go out and do for 90 minutes. It's like, what a weird thing to call something. My
call it
score
anti-football.
prediction. Anti. Look, potato, patata, Arabiata. Come on, let's leave it. I'm going to go 3-2 to Spurs.
Oh,
Ooh,
A lot of goals.
sounds
A
a
lot of
good
goals.
game. No, I'm up for that.
I reckon there'll be goals. Yeah, they're not defensive teams.
A lot of goals. I know I said that I'm confident and unconfident at the same time. I need more blankets and less blankets all at once.
and then more blankets.
No, I think we'll win. 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1. That's the hopeful side of me
You're
saying that score prediction. But
yeah, Man City Spurs is it's in December. It's a little while away. I thought it was more recent.
is it? I thought it was next week.
No, Man City's next games are interesting. They've got Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, and Villa, so they could slip up there
Ooh.
What am I
around that.
thinking? Oh no,
Could be Villa.
we've got
could be
Wolves.
Villa.
We've got Wolves and then Villa. Oh yeah.
Villa are very interesting. Are we going to segue into Villa now because of that, or
I actually had Villa much further down.
Ah,
Much further
don't worry
down the
about it.
list.
That was-
Sorry.
They got.
could have been quite smooth.
Sorry. We can get to that, but it's going to be a quick prediction, I reckon. So just
Yeah.
probably like this next. Although I don't know, Everton Brighton is what we're moving
an
on to next.
That's interesting. Yeah,
That is an interesting game,
Mm.
considering Everton have actually not been too bad the past couple of games, right? Let me have a look. I might be. Yeah, so
They won last night. They beat us
Other than-
previously.
actually, other than Liverpool, the Liverpool away game, they've won their past three. like 3 out of the past 4 games. So, and their home games, the only one they've lost is against Arsenal. So, I mean, Brighton, I say this every week that Brighton aren't exactly the brightest spark this year, but I don't know. I think they're just letting in more goals than they have done previously. But I can't. It's got to be Brighton, right?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm getting shots to the head from Chris. Ash doesn't know.
Yeah, I'm going Everton on this one.
Yeah, I'm more swayed by Everton at the moment. They're on the ascendancy, you know. They're on the way up. Yeah.
No, I agree behind, to be honest with you. I think Everton have just played shit teams, obviously West Ham included. Brighton have had it rough, but they played Villa, who are flying. I can't remember who else they played last week or whatever.
Liverpool City and Fulham, so tough run.
They drew with Fulham at home.
Yeah, Fulham aren't a bad team. Fulham are, I think, they're better than Everton. They put up a good enough showing against your lot behind.
Yeah.
So I do think Brighton. I'm going to go Brighton 2-0. I'll start off the.
There you go.
Individuals.
Chris Gibson, sir.
1-1.
1-1.
Thought you were with me on the old Everton front, Gibby. I think you've backed
For them
down
to get a
now.
draw is back in Everton, to be honest. any other season, I'll be back in Brighton, but I just think they haven't picked up many wins in the last few weeks, have they? Everton, like you say, are on the up there.
Yeah.
I think have they picked up points on the road last 2 fixtures? Now they're back in front of the home crowds. Maybe this is the time.
I think the dice goes rolling on. I think it's going to be 2-1 Everton. Going to keep on going.
So, I mean, just in terms of symmetry, Brighton have drew their last game, then lost the one before that, drew the one before that, lost the one before that, and won the one before that. And Everton have won, lost. So if we're going by symmetry, Brighton are going to win this game, and then Everton are going to lose to keep that symmetry up. But I mean, that's a ridiculous way to sort of calculate a football match, obviously.
Don't based on patterns. Yeah.
No, I think I kind of agree with the Everton hype. I don't even know why. I don't know why I'm agreeing with this, but I feel like that Sean Dyche will have enough to stroll past De Zerbi, and it'll be a 2-0 Everton win.
Nice.
There we go.
Join the dark side, Liam.
That changed very
Join the
quickly.
dark side.
It
Yeah,
did.
that's what I was thinking.
We were
Like,
very
everyone did this,
we were very convincing.
everyone did this big spiel and went against themselves.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, initially I thought Brighton, but then I was like, oh,
We're just flaky.
I
We
dunno.
don't have any commitment.
Yeah.
not committed enough.
The flaky.
The Flaky Football Podcast. There we go. Flaky Football.
And that's not to do with eczema.
Sheffield United versus Wolves, which will be an interesting game. And I think Sheffield United will get beaten by Wolves convincingly 2-0. So anyone else
How
got
does it make it interesting? Yeah, agreed.
I don't.
any colour? Anyone got anything to say about this?
Colour-wise, no. I can offer you a score prediction.
Go for
What's
it.
the colour like thing going on, Liam? Someone give me your colour.
That's what it's called, right? When you give like opinions on
Is
something,
it
right?
bring
That's
your
colour.
I thought we were non-binary.
That is
No,
definitely
that's
colour.
right.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah, moving on. Billy, score prediction.
I am going to go for a. I can't even remember what game we're on about, so it don't matter, does it?
Orange versus red. The colours.
Orange versus red. Wolves, gold, I guess. I'll go with a 1-0 Wolves win. I think it was Sheffield United, wasn't it? 2-0 Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ash.
I don't know how you can call this an interesting game. 1-0 Wolves.
And Chris.
2-0 Wolves.
So everyone has said that Sheffield won't score and Wolves will win the game. 3 of us said by 2 goals. 1 of us said by 1 goal. Do you think Higginbottom is first in line to
Hecking.
be sacked. Higginbottom has too many. Shut up.
Some form of
Do you
bottom,
think
yeah.
he is first in line to be sacked as Premier League manager this year? This
I would like to answer your question with a question. Who?
Paul Heckingbottom, the Sheffield United manager, sir.
Fuck it. Honestly, right? I'm pretty
and
into
if
my
not-
football, but I had no fucking idea who Sheffield United's manager was.
And if you don't think it'll be Paul Heckingbottom, who do you think it would be the first manager to be sacked this season?
I'm
Is
surprised
this
by
only
that.
Premier League?
What? Yeah, Premier
It's
League.
Is this
Premier
only
League, yeah.
Premier League?
This is
All
the
right, that
Premier
takes
League
Norwich
preview.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see Ten Hag getting sacked, even though I think that's probably the logical thing to do. Chelsea have found a little bit of form. Vincent Kompany would be harsh because he has done wonders with a team that should probably never gotten promoted, in my opinion. So, I mean, you have to say Sheffield United's manager, but they were never expected to do anything. This is a tougher question than it should appear, but I think just sitting on the fence, whoever you said Sheffield United's manager is, it can be him.
Paul
I'm
Heckingbottom.
surprised. I'm surprised you don't know who it is, Billy, because we used to play a game where you'd have to try and name each club's manager, ground, and where they were in the table. I don't know if you remember that. It's quite a few years ago now.
Yeah,
You were very-
I could do all the grounds, no problem.
Yeah, the grounds. Yeah.
I can name 19 out of the 20 managers.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Luton's one.
I was
Right,
just about to say Luton's manager. Go for
Ah.
it.
I know he's like my age.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so Chris, first manager to be sacked the Premier League this year. Who do you reckon?
I'm scratching my head with the names here, but I don't think it'll be Sheffield. I just think they'll just stick with him, mainly because if they fire him, they've got to pay him off, and I don't think they've got the money to do so. I agree that Ten Hag will probably linger around for a little bit, but I don't think he'll last the whole season. Who's at Bournemouth? Is it O'Neill?
Yeah,
No,
Gary
O'Neill
O'Neill.
went to Wolves.
I think
No.
it'll be. I think
Oh,
it'll
shit.
be.
And
They
Dodi
sacked
Iraola.
O'Neill, didn't they? They sacked O'Neill, and O'Neill went to Wolves, and because they wanted was it
No,
Areola?
fucking hell.
Iraola.
Areola. Yeah.
The
The
Ariola's
Liverpool
actually in-
goalkeeper.
Is that an organ for the reproductory system for a woman?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
going
they
to go
sacked-
with
they-
that guy.
What, Bournemouth's manager?
Yeah,
They went. Nah, they weren't sacked.
I reckon
they
it'll be
won't
someone
sack him.
towards the bottom, but I don't think it'll be Luton or Sheffield. I reckon it'll be Company or him.
Bournemouth will not sack their manager for the very reason that they sacked Gary O'Neill to get this manager in.
Yeah. He's
won't
safe,
sack
I
him.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're clearly a fickle fucking club to get rid of Gary O'Neill in the circumstance they did, so I don't think you can say that
No,
with much confidence.
That's true. But
He got a one up on them because they beat them at
yeah.
away.
And
didn't
Wolves
they?
are playing much better football than Bournemouth this year as well. And definitely doing better in the table. Ashley, what do you reckon?
So
Manager.
I'll report to you. I'll report to you live from the bookies and the latest odds. This will be the second manager to go in the league. Did you know? Who was the first manager to get sacked this season? Just before the season started, so it counts as the first manager.
That does
Apparently,
not count.
That's Gary O'Neill.
apparently,
Yeah, it must be Gary O'Neill.
no.
Oh, Wolves' manager, whoever that was.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Esperito or whatever his name was.
Lopetegui, yeah.
Oh,
So
well,
he-
close.
I don't know. So apparently, there's two managers
doesn't
in
count.
contention. There's two managers which are pretty much neck and neck for the favourites to get sacked. They're by far the favourites. Two of them.
Ten Hag and
And it's-
Heckingbottom.
It's Ten Hag and Heckingbottom.
Yeah.
After the defeat to Newcastle, Ten Hag is now the favourite to get sacked.
Mm.
Be interested. Yeah, could be. But then I don't think he's the problem at United anyway. They've just got.
I mean,
the
United
players are
have-
just awful. That they're
United
signing.
have
the
gone
thing,
through
don't
how
they?
many managers and still having
So-
the same issue with every single manager.
Moyes, Van Gaal, there was fucking Solskjaer. It's been dreadful. It's been great to watch. So long may it continue. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
gotta
think
be
he's
one
doing
of
a
them
great
two.
job.
Yeah, it's great to watch.
Great.
It's got to be one of them two. So I think Heckingbottom, surely they've got to get rid of him soon. Can't just let let this rot. They can't let themselves rot. Surely.
Yeah, I'd like to sort of add on to that by saying that I genuinely think Sheffield United have a chance of breaking Derby County's record of the lowest points.
I was
for
just about
relegation.
to say that.
I feel like
Just
we
about
say
to
this
say
a
that.
lot.
They've
We say
got
this, and
one.
we, you know,
They've got 1 point out of 10 games. So a quarter of the way through the season, they would need to,
Yeah, if they carry on at this trajectory, you can see him ending on 4 or 5 points.
get one win in the next half of the season and then get one draw from then until the end. I don't know. Yeah, it's dreadful, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're relegated. Let's be honest, they're
Yeah.
relegated. It's just
And
a
I
matter of how many points.
And I reckon Heckingbottom's going to be sacked first as well, just to get my thoughts on that. Although that could depend on the Fulham United game, which is the next game we're going to talk about. And I say talk about very loosely because, well, I mean, there could be a bit to talk about because obviously United are shit at the moment and Fulham are average. So, and it's at Craven Cottage. So
Fulham's home ground, bit of trivia there for you.
Fulham's home ground. Ah, thanks, Bill.
Yeah,
Here with the
you're welcome.
facts. Fun facts
Just
all
note
day,
them
all
all
night.
It's what I do, isn't it?
Thank you.
I reckon Fulham are going to win this one 2-1. Would anyone like to jump in? Anyone got anything to say? Or do you just want to do some scores?
I could.
Well, I agree. So there's my score.
2-1 for Bill.
2-1 for Bill.
No, I reckon United will do this. I think it'll be tight though. I reckon 2-1. United will get the winner in the last 10 minutes. Scumbags.
Put it on.
Ashley.
Yeah, I agree with Gibby. I think like United will do just enough to save Ten Hag. I can point out a fun fact for you that across United's strike force, Anthony, Garnacho, Højlund, Martial, Rashford, and Sancho, they've scored 1 goal between them in the Premier League all season.
So they've abused as many women?
Yes. I could have phrased it like that.
I'm here to get the jokes. Don't worry. That's
You got
I
my
was
back.
yeah.
So it won't be a strike. So I'm going to say it'll be a Harry Maguire brace for United to win 2-0.
One from 45 yards
didn't say.
would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Harry Maguire scores from 45
Maguire, their
yards.
saviour. Yeah.
There we go. You guys thinking United are going to win a game is disgusting, to be honest. So let's move on to one of the games that I feel is going to be a bit more one-sided. Forest Villa. Forest at home, bit of a local derby, I guess you could call it. Yeah, but I think Villa will have too much for Forest. Unfortunately, Forest are not really performing at a decent level this season. But I think they will be safe just because of how shit the teams below them are. But I can't see anything other than a Villa win here, convincingly. I think it'll be a convincing 3-1 or 4-1 win. I'll go 3-1.
I'm actually going to give my first sort of hot take, but it's not that much bad. I'm going to see a 1-1 draw here. Villa are flying, but Forest, they keep pulling off something at home at random points, coming from 2-0 down and stuff like this. So I don't think you can really count them out. So I'm just to stop being so basic, I'm going to say a 1-1 draw.
That's fair enough. Ashley?
I was just having a look who was out for the teams. Am I the only one that didn't know Origi was at Forest? Because I had no idea.
I knew that one.
I did know he was, yeah.
That is a surprise. Forest haven't won at home since August. I'm going to go 2-1 Villa.
Did he call him Origi?
Yes, he did,
Origi, yeah. Original.
Okay.
Original prankster.
Chris?
I'm going to go 3-1 Villa.
Yeah, easy one. And one of the more boring games of the weekend, Burnley versus Palace. I'm just gonna. I think it's going to be 1-1. That's what I'm going for. 1-1. I'm just going to do a score. If anyone wants to say anything about it, they can. But if not, we'll just run through the score predictions. So, Ashley,
2-1 Burnley.
Billy.
I'm going to go 1-0 Burnley.
Oh, Chris.
They both play anti-football, so it's going to be 0-0 because they're not going to play football.
They're just going to both sit back like in a low block against each other. The ball's just going to stay in the centre circle. They're both going to wait for the other team to attack.
We don't want to go get it
for 90 minutes. No, you go get the ball. Which would be an interesting way to play football. Although, I mean, it wouldn't actually, would it at all? That would make for the worst game.
No, absolutely not.
The worst games possible. Right. Billy sent a message in the group earlier, and no one else really knows what it means because I don't think they caught the message. But Billy had something he wanted to add to the agenda. I'm sort of teeing it up for him, and I'm just going to let Billy explain from here on out. So go on, Bill.
Yeah, this is more to the point, like just for maybe a debate or a discussion, if you will. But I've, like, watching games recently, there's like just a rule that really is starting to boil my piss. And it's a rule that I understand is in place, but I think it could be handled differently. I'm kind of interested to know what you think on that, what I'm going to mention, and also sort of rules that you're not a fan of, how you change them, or if you just fuck them off completely. But what I'm on about is players going down, holding their head because they know for concussion rules they have to stop the play instantly, just breaking down any potential attack. My idea would be, obviously the rule is in place for a very decent reason. Like CTE is a thing that ruins lives and fucks people up. I think if once they've been treated, they shouldn't be allowed to join the field or play for 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, because it's going to stop players wanting to go down and take the piss out of that time. So
actually, as soon as you, because I didn't know what rule you were going to say, I was saying, I was actually speaking about this to someone the other day, and I said, if they're going down holding their head and the game has to be stopped because of such a thing, like let's say they go down, hold their head, and they get back up, whatever, that's fine. They've just obviously taken a slight knock. But if they go down and they are holding their head and trying to slow the game down and get it stopped because the other team's breaking, do what rugby do and send them off for a head injury assessment and have a substitution to that fact, like a concussion sub.
It stops players, especially when they're 1-0 up. They don't want to go down to 10 men for that amount of time, do they? But it stops them just using that to sway things to their advantage.
No, absolutely. And actually, that is something I was speaking to with someone else as well. I think it was Jade's granddad was around and we were watching one of the football matches. I can't remember. I think it might have been the West Ham Villa game, to be honest, because I think one of the Villa players went down when I think one of the Villa players went down as West Ham were attacking.
Zaniolo.
And they stopped the game, and then Villa scored 2 minutes later, just after West Ham had an attack stopped because he was down on his head.
But he's another one that's been accused of betting, so maybe he has something on Villa to score next. Quick head injury.
He's signalling to someone in the crowd, quick, get a Villa to score next on.
Yeah, I don't know. I do like that signal. I like the idea, Bill, to be fair. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because it also does still keep player protection in the main sort of forefront of it, doesn't it? Like, because that's the reason that you stop the game is for player protection.
Yeah, but there's just other ways it can be done.
Yeah, and other ways that it shouldn't benefit the team that it, or at least not. There should be a repercussion for the player if they are feigning injury, for example.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
I mean, having to come off the field to play for 10 minutes.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying bring in sin bins, but I mean, it somewhat act as an effective sin bin if somebody is.
But a concussion sub can come on, so they're not going to lose a player for that 10 minutes, but the player that has done it will have to come off and not play for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's not like if the player is concussed, they're getting punished for faking it, whatever. If the player's concussed, they're coming off anyway.
Yeah, they should do.
So it just seems like a good way to stop the slowing down of the game.
No, I do like that. Maybe another rule I would change would be VAR checks.
Yeah,
Actually,
I knew
no,
that would come up.
ahead of that would be dissent to the referee.
Yes, that's what I was going to mention, Liam, as well.
Pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, being more of a rugby player, like it, you don't. If you speak back to the ref, you know you're a possibility of getting sent off, like,
Mhm.
and that should be more prevalent. Everything goes through the captain, unless there's a break in play and you've done something. You can ask the ref, but running up to the ref and scream. Obviously, they've sort of tried to bring it in, and people are getting a lot more yellow cards for it. But
Getting better,
But it's
isn't
got to
it?
be. But it's got to
It is
be like
getting
instant.
better.
Instant.
You can't
Yeah.
ask for a card anymore, which I think is quite good.
no, that is
If you-
good
if-
as well.
If refs had the same level of respect that they do in rugby, it'd be a lot better. I know what you mean. And actually, I'd like to be able to hear. I know everyone says it, but I'd like to be able to hear the conversations with VAR.
Yeah, I
rugby
think
as well.
I was going to. I was about to say that as well, which is why I mentioned VAR. But I think the issue with it is they're still working it out, and obviously everything isn't perfect, as been told by many an error this season. Nothing that's really made any massive difference to any game, obviously. But I think it would be good to hear the conversations, but I think some of them maybe could cause issues in the stands. Because, do you know what I mean? And would you want that sort of animosity towards the referee for making a decision that maybe the crowd don't feel is correct? I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of like what they did in the Women's World Cup as well, where the referee would explain over the mic to the crowd sort of like the decision and the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the middle ground then. Like the referees have their private conversation, and then the other referee comes out and says, "Right, this is what's happening. This is the decision. This is why. Here we go."
Yeah. Could probably do like a little poll, maybe just at the bottom of the screen, just for like listeners, if any rules that they want to add or things that they agree with as well.
For all of our listeners.
For our listeners,
I
Sam,
think
when
Might
he
be
moves
waiting
out.
for a question.
I can add polls on Spotify. So if you're listening to this on YouTube,
I've
go
been-
to Spotify to
I've
do
been
the poll.
voting, Liam. So yeah.
Yeah. Did you like my previous poll about Madison? That was.
I didn't feel as if I had a choice, Liam. To be honest.
Yeah. I should have just put like the other worst signings of the year and just Madison and all the worst signings, so that you did actually
we
not have
haven't-
a choice.
We didn't actually do that discussion. Maybe for next pod. What are the worst?
Next time we can
Yeah.
do that. We're running
Interesting.
slightly out of time.
Yeah.
So for the final game that we will cover, and probably game of the weekend, to be honest, Luton at home against Liverpool. Smashing game. It's gonna be a thriller at Kenilworth Road. The people having baths while the match is on are not going to know what's hitting with the noise, and I think it's going to be a massive victory for Luton. I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna say 3-1 Luton.
Of course you are.
Wow. Straight faced 3-1 Luton.
Okay. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm so excited about this game. I zoned the fuck out when you was talking all through that. And I have no idea who Luton are playing.
Is that
Who's
because you
left
heard my
with it?
score prediction? You're like, surely he didn't say Luton are playing Liverpool.
Yeah, no, I heard you say 3-1 Luton, and now I have absolutely no idea who the fuck they could be playing to warrant such a...
Liverpool.
He has just said, yeah.
Liverpool.
Oh, I thought you were joking. Oh my god! So you're genuinely standing with 3-1 Luton.
I'm standing by 3-1 Luton.
And how high are you?
I smoked a big old rock of crack before I started the podcast.
Yeah, it's added up. That makes
It's
sense.
just about it.
Yeah.
Took a while.
Yeah,
it was a delayed response.
I'm gonna go with a 3-0 Liverpool and 2 goals from that guy who they've signed, whose name is like a Wi-Fi password, Shabozlai or whatever it is.
One was like 67 exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi password. Fucking hell. Ashley, what do you reckon?
3-1 to Liverpool this time. I'm not an idiot.
Gibby.
I'm going to
just you
raise it to
left the-
4-1 4-1.
You're going to have to specify who for, because Liam's thrown this all off.
Oh, he has
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, that's going to be Liverpool then.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
3-1 Luton.
You're all going to look real silly when Luton win 3-1.
No, we're
Yeah,
not.
we are.
It's not
It's going
going
to
to
be all over
happen.
YouTube.
Yeah.
If it happens, I'm going to put the clip up. And I'm going to put pies on all your faces.
If that happens, I will find a way to do a podcast in an Arsenal shirt this year.
Excellent.
Wow,
Book
he
it
said
in.
it. He
It's like he
said it.
wants to
Lock it
do
in.
it. He's
There's
Lock
no
it in.
denying it, is there?
Lock
Like,
it
That in. Lock
Lock
that
it
in.
in.
Wow.
Locked
Wow.
in. Locked in.
fuck.
Wow.
Locked in.
The game just got interesting.
A game got very. I'm not even going to put a bet on the game because that is the bet now.
That
I'm
is
gonna
the
be,
bet. That's the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
Liam's hot
rooting.
take of the episode.
The thing is,
Yeah.
you know full well if I was putting on an accumulator, there's no way in fucking hell he's putting Luton on to win that game.
You put Sheffield United on last weekend, didn't you?
I did it accidentally.
That didn't work out. Dreams crumble to dust, Billy.
You know what? I will. I'm going to put Luton to win in my ACCA this week.
All right. Well,
All right.
you ain't winning any money.
Put it in the chat. We want to see that. I
Guess
wanna see
that
at
ACCA's
least
going to pay
£5
for
on
the
it.
studio. I will put it in the chat, and I will make a separate video personally if it comes in.
Oh, absolutely.
They're 11-1, Liam. 11-1 to win.
Oh, that's going to boost that ACCA massively,
That's
isn't
going
it?
to boost that Acker boy, yeah. Give you
Oh,
some of
boost
that
my ACCA
ACCA.
boy. Oh, boost that ACCA. Has anyone got any further comments on the footballing week ahead?
Plenty of games will be played.
Yeah, there'll be goals. Yeah.
Matches will be on.
Absolutely. There will be many a football kicked this weekend.
Potential
Specifically
football, just in case.
10 foot. Well, maybe more than 10 footballs, but
Unless there's anti-football.
unless there's
There's
anti-football.
Football's there. But this is not how we're going to end this podcast, is it? This is actual waffle.
How are we going to end it then?
One more fact.
Who's going to win the Champions League? Just a team. Just nothing else. Just a team. Billy.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Just say a team.
Little known club from Spain, Real Madrid.
Ashley.
Liverpool.
Chris.
Ooh.
They're not in it. They're not in it. So it can't be Liverpool. Sorry, I didn't know if anyone's going to pick me up on that. Okay. Well, Man City.
That was the look.
Man City will do it again.
Chris.
Real Madrid.
Oh, 2 Real Madrid, 1 Man City, and I'm going to say Newcastle.
Luton.
And that's Luton.
Fucking-
No, I'm going Newcastle. And that's how
Can't
we're
even
ending the
take you
podcast.
seriously.